So, welcome to System 1 Infection and Immunity module. Today I'll be talking about Introduction to Entomology. Let's start with the arthropods of veterinary importance. Insecta, they include fly, lice, and flea. These parasites have a three pair of legs in the case of adult, as shown in these pictures. These parasite has a distinct head, thorax, and abdomen, along with the wings and legs. And normally the flies will see the wings. Uh, they have a small pair of antenna in the adult, as shown here, and the life cycle with partial or complete metamorphosis. We'll talk about the life cycle more in detail in our in-class session. In the case of arachnida, that include mites and ticks, they have a four pair of legs in the case of nymph and adult, as shown here. But in the case of larvae, there is a three pair of legs. The mouth part is fused with the cephalothorax and abdomen. There is no antenna in this group of parasite. General characteristics of fly. There's a two type of fly, non-biting fly or biting fly. In the case of the non-biting fly, as shown here in this picture, they are the mouth part is bended, and they act like a slushing or sponging of the secretion at mucous membrane or the blood. And the example of the non-biting flies are house flies, face flies, head flies, or horn flies. In the case of the biting flies, the mouth part is straight because they act like a pricking of secretion at the mucous membrane or the blood, and the stable fly is the example of these biting fly. General characteristics of flea. They are uh, extremely important, cause extremely important disease in dogs and cats. This parasite adapt to parasitism and cause a very severe disease in the companion animal. And they have this parasite is wingless and strong legs and powerful jumper, and the spine and the combs prevent being dislodged by grooming. General characteristic of flies. There are two types of lice, chewing lice or sucking lice. In the case of chewing lice, the mouth part is specialized for biting at the skin, and they do not prick but feed on the skin debris, move quickly and difficult to identify or find. Head is broader than the thorax, as shown here in this upper picture. In the case of the sucking lice, as shown in the second feature here, the mouth part is specialized for pricking at the skin and sucking the blood from the capillaries of the epidermis of the host, and the head is narrower than the thorax. That's why they are used for the pricking of the blood from the host. General characteristics of mites. There are two types of mites: boring mites and non-boring mites. The boring mites make a tunnel into the skin, and they are short legs, as shown in this left figure, in this left picture. They are smaller and circular in shape. In the case of non-boring mites, as shown here, live on the skin surface and hairs. Long legs, larger and long in shape. The characteristics of the ticks. Nymph and adults have a four pair of legs, as shown here in this picture here on the right side here, and the larvae have a three pair of legs. And there's a two type of ticks, either a soft ticks or hard ticks. We'll talk about more in detail between these two type of ticks in our in-class session. But briefly here, in the case of the soft tick, they mate, and the female lay 200 to 300 eggs in each feeding. In the case of hard tick, once they mate, female tick deposit thousands of eggs at each feeding. So overall, this lesson summary. there is an understanding of the general characteristics of arthropod, and you can also able to define a different type of arthropods. Thank you very much for your listening.